This rustic solid oak king-size bed, just $439. And this French farmhouse sideboard is now only $399. Plus there's free delivery on everything. Oak Furnitureland, quality at a price you can't knock.
Download the app or visit William Hill on your mobile. William Hill, the home of betting.
Proceed to protocol.
With over 9,000 restaurants, Hungry House is the easy way to order your favourite takeaway.
Houston, the crispy duck has landed.
Your hunger? Our mission. hungryhouse.co.uk. Order online or download the app.
Honestly, it's not easy working in a place like this. That's why I got the new Surface. There's a touchscreen, new windows, and it also runs Office. And I can kick back and relax with Flipboard or Xbox videos. Great for when things are getting a little cozy.
We all hate missing things.
How on earth did he miss that?
The latest goals, that last-minute try, a forehand down the line, or your favourite show.
Join us again, same time next week.
But if you're a BT TV customer, you needn't miss out anymore. Because you can catch up with the best BT sport action from the last 7 days with our catch-up service.
He surely couldn't miss from there.
Don't miss out. Make the most of BT Sport with catch-up on BT TV.
Sponsored by Bet365.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. All sorts of excitements to come. We've got the goals later on from PSG's clash with Valenciennes. I should also mention what's coming up tomorrow evening on BT Sports Panel. Have a look at this. 9:30 in the morning. Helen Skelton-Myler, joined by David Ginola, and also Danny Cipriani, Martin Keown, the former Arsenal great, of course, and England ladies captain Casey Stoney. That's 9:30 tomorrow morning. Make sure you tune in for that. We've got a little bit of time before the second half at San Siro. Tancredi, Bologna, a tough nut to crack. What's Seedorf going to do to get this win?
Well, as I said, speeding up more, stretching a bit more the ball. Maybe Pazzini is coming in. Well, he's warming up like someone that maybe not from the first minute of the second half, but could come in the last half an hour. Let's see if Seedorf will decide to play him just in place of Balotelli. That would be the direct substitution. Or maybe to take off Kaká, save him some minutes for the Atletico Madrid game and put the two strikers up front. Also because Balotelli is the kind of striker that anyway can help a number 9. He's not a pure number 9. He likes to build up, he likes to be out of the box, centre-left. So I believe that Pazzini might enjoy that. And already in Cagliari, Milan, putting Pazzini in the last minutes had a very good time because they could turn around the result. Now, there isn't a result to turn around here, so there won't be any fury, any rage for those last minutes. But still, they miss some pace. And look also at Poli, actually. He was the man that was expected to play. Then Kaká played over there. It's not that he could bring some creativity that Kaká doesn't have, but probably it's the pace a bit that is missing.
Okay, Pazzini, a man with a terrific record against Bologna, in his last 2 appearances against the Filcia. How do you say it, Filcia?
Filcini.
Okay, 5 goals in 2 games.
Yes.
My word, remarkable stuff. As for taking off Balotelli, he didn't have the best of times last weekend down in Naples. What have you made of his first half?
It was, I believe, in the same average that Milan was. The thing is that probably from Balotelli you expect always, from someone like Balotelli you expect always.
But he is their star player at this point, no? I mean, Kaká is a former glory,
no doubt. I mean, he's the star player of Serie A, because even if Buffon, Tevez, Pirlo, they are probably more effective than Balotelli, but the star who got the glimpse of the personality that is going across the borders in this moment. Of course, those 3, they have that, but it's only Mario Balotelli. The kids, they want to be they want to have hairstyle like Balotelli, not like Tevez. So, and unfortunately for the parents. So, but I mean, but maybe it wouldn't be fair to take off Balotelli from the first minute, because it's not that he played badly. As I said, it's difficult. Bologna there at the edge of the box, doing a lot of intensity, as we say in Italy.
Well, you were pointing out in the first half, they got 8 players back defending the goal. Under Balladini, they look a completely different team. Very, very solid at the back. And you can understand why. They're battling relegation. They want to make sure absolutely that they at least get a point. From this one, Milan's point of view, though, this was a great team. And they've got some great names in there. Balotelli, Honda's a very, very exciting player. Kaká, of course. And Thuram, in his own way, has got, I mean, supreme technical ability when he wants. But in terms of finding each other, we haven't really seen that at all, have we?
Because they aren't really playing together in this moment. And, well, probably it's also because they've been...
Is that so, because they literally haven't been playing together? Thuram's only just arrived?
Exactly,
or?
Exactly. I mean, both the things. Considering that Bologna is standing behind, just waiting, they aren't, maybe they don't have enough space to do their build-up, but also they are trying, by all the single players, by themselves sometimes to find the space inside. In that way, it's very difficult to surprise the defense, because will always be positioned, and they have the time anyway to mark or double mark on the others. Yeah. I must say, of all the players up front, the one I like the most is Taarabt, that anyways, as I saw also in Naples, he's always putting pressure when he's losing the ball or when the others are losing the ball. I think he has this attitude of someone that has just arrived, is new at Milan, and wants to demonstrate to the new manager that he can be part of that. And actually, in spite of playing in an area where Milan, as you said, got already Kaká, well, Robinho now is injured, Honda, Poli can play also there, Sharawi now is injured as well. But I mean, twice in a row, starting for the first minute, looks like Seedorf is finding in him, even if he doesn't have technical skills like the others, but finding in him a good mix of temperament and technique that maybe the others are not giving. Maybe that is the key, a bit more temperament in what they are doing.
All right, well, we'll see in the second half, which has been slightly delayed, as you might have gathered, I think, because the referee Bergonzi is currently having his mouth stitched up, although, look, there you can see behind, the players are now coming out.
Kind of a Hollywood surgery. For the...
yeah, they're coming out for the second half. And we'll be seeing more action later on. We've got the goals from PSG's game with Valencia, but right now back to San Siro for the second half live with Tony Dorigo and Adam Summerton.
Thank you, James. Still awaiting the arrival of the referee, Mauro Bergonzi. It was a nasty cut that he took to his lip after it being struck in the face by the ball. What an important 45 minutes ahead for both clubs, really, for their respective targets between now and the end of the season. Certainly time running out for Milan if they're to get a European place. Much of the pre-match focus, understandably, on Milan's troubles and their need for European football next season. But Bologna in a battle quite literally for survival. Well-documented financial problems, can ill afford to miss out on top-flight TV revenue next season. It's worth around €30 million to them. Would get parachute payments, but of course it's nothing like the real thing. They have the opportunity, if they can get a win tonight, to go 7 points clear of the relegation zone in Serie A. Milan with the opportunity to move into the top half of the table and go 9th. Perhaps shouldn't be too surprised that it is level at the moment. Bologna have drawn 9 games this season. No club has finished level more often. Cagliari, Torino, Parma and Inter have also drawn 9. Milan just behind them with 8 draws to their name. And I think Tony Dorigo, we've seen perhaps in that first half some of the reasons why Milan have drawn so many games so far this season. Just lacking that little bit of cutting edge in the final third. The guys talking at half-time about perhaps the forward players not quite clicking.
Exactly right, and certainly they are new to each other, so that's one thing, but I'm not sure in that last third there's enough invention there, enough movement, and really confidence in their play. And of course, when they come up against good sides, they then test their defence, and their defence hasn't been good enough either. So they're getting away with it tonight, but really not looking any sort of great shakes. There's no real tempo. There's no variation in their play as well. So Pazzini, I'm sure, has to come on, hopefully sooner rather than later. And at least then they'll have an aerial ball to get the back three of Bologna thinking something different. Because at the moment, everything's in front of them. It's nice and easy. And from Milan's point of view, you have to up the tempo and get it left. They can't go that way, get it out right quickly. They really try and change their play a little bit more. But certainly at the moment, you think Bologna are going to be quite happy.
Well, as you'll be aware, we should have been kicked off again for the second half by now, but the kickoff has been delayed, and it's due to a blow to the face of the referee, and this is it. And both myself and Tony Dorigo incredibly impressed about how he barely even flinched, the referee, Mauro Bergonzi, and it was well over a minute before he actually went to the touchline to ask for any treatment. But when he did start to get some treatment, Tony, well, he just couldn't stop the bleeding.
No, he couldn't. Certainly looks a dangerous cut. So he'll have a few stitches in his lips, and out he goes. And the boys will be, well, the players certainly have a bit more time at half-time. That's careful, so they keep nice and fresh and warm. Don't want to pull anything after having a break of over 20 minutes, coming out for 22. It's rather unusual.
Interesting that Milan have really made the most of that break as well, only just coming out now. The Bologna players have been out for a good while yet. What about that man? Mario Balotelli, of course. We saw him in tears after being substituted in the game against Napoli, and hasn't looked himself so far tonight, has he?
I've got to admit, he doesn't look right, does he? Simple as that, just his body language. It's so easy to tell with Mario how he feels just by looking at his shoulders and how he struts around, and he's moody at the best of times, but tonight just hasn't been at the races, and you'd be surprised that, what, 15 minutes, I suppose, to say to Seedorf, you know what, I want to stay on. Well, here's the man of the hour.
Well, they've clearly done a patch-up job on Mauro Bergonzi. He looks happy enough, doesn't he? One of Serie A's most experienced officials, 42 years old, a top-flight referee since 2003. Clearly has a good relationship with the players as well, which is something that was perhaps far more common many years ago, wasn't it? But perhaps not so much now. And we are about to get back underway then, 8 minutes later than planned. Milan supporters will want to see a distinct improvement from their first half display. They really raised the tempo at the San Siro. And it's Milan who get us underway then. Early touch here for Nigel de Jong, who finds Virgilio. No changes yet from either manager, but as was mentioned at half-time, Pazzini, the Milan forward, going through quite a rigorous warm-up. He has a fantastic goal-scoring record against Bologna. He scored 5 against them last season. You wouldn't expect it to be too long before he's introduced, if nothing really changes in the early stages for Milan.
No, I think that's right. Here you see him knocking it around at the back. I'd like to see one of the centre-halves really come forward with it and commit the players in midfield of Bologna, but still not doing it.
Rolando Bianchi giving chase. Covering defender was Adil Rami, of course, is still adjusting to life in Italy. Says it's been a big change from La Liga, where he was plying his trade most recently with Valencia. That his last appearance for Valencia was a 3-0 defeat against Swansea in the UEFA Europa League. He was sent off after 10 minutes of that game as well. Says he's getting used to how Serie A works. Of course, saw as he has his first goal at the San Siro and against Torino back on the 1st of February. Beauty it was as well. De Jong, Honda, Virgilio unable to control.
I'm not sure this is the start that Seedorf has wanted. Certainly Bologna exactly the same way, playing nice and deep, tight, allowing the Milan back line to have the ball. Of course, they're not doing much with it.
It was quite clear, Clarence Seedorf, that the players weren't demotivated by that loss at Napoli. Says he's seen a great desire in the squad on the training ground to improve as individuals and indeed as a collective unit. Haven't seen a great deal of evidence of that so far this evening, but the night is young. Zaccardo. Virgilio. Of course, while ever they can keep it tight at 0-0, Bologna will always fancy perhaps their chances of nicking something as Balotelli is brought down by Natali.
Great turn, it really was. Natali there was beaten all ends up. That was better because it's a nice firm ball in, quickly played. And now, rather than try and get a touch in front of him, he's whipped it around the corner. He's going to run on it himself. It is a wonderful turn, positive play.
I don't think the 34-year-old Cesare Natali fancied his chances of catching Mario Balotelli there. Perhaps taking one for the team. Nevertheless, a free kick in a position where Milan have plenty of players who contest the goalkeeper Gianluca Corci here. Montalivo and Honda there for Milan. who need a pick-me-up. It's Montalivo to swing it in. Adil Rami it was, forward from the back.
Should have done a lot better there. Actually, it was a brilliant ball, just floated in. And Rami got there, but not quite enough. Just things aren't going right. And what is important, they just keep calm, keep trying to do the right things, trying to carry out the instructions of their manager.
Header by Zaccardo. Cristaldo going down. The challenge was by Adil Rami. And clearly, Adil Rami feeling that Cristaldo went down rather easily there.
I think as he challenged him, sort of striker, once he gets a touch, down he goes. Cheap free kick. Here you can see how much ambition that Bologna have got. Everyone's still behind the ball and they're passing it backwards.
Christodoulopoulos. Bianchi beyond him. Rather delayed the pass. And free kick to Milan. Both these clubs undergoing mid-season managerial change in January. Clarence Seedorf appointed by Milan on the 16th as Max Allegri's successor. Davide Ballardini had succeeded Stefano Pioli at Bologna around a week earlier. Two coaches still finding their feet in jobs that will, of course, allow little time to do that. Even this early on in Clarence Seedorf's reign at Milan, there are people who are saying, have they progressed enough since Allegri? It really is a pressure cooker environment, isn't it? Particularly for a coach in his first job.
No, it is, but that's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Because I think everyone certainly understands where Milan are at the moment. They're a mid-table Serie A side, and you need some investment.
Tarat. It's taken away from him by Gadic at the expense of a corner kick.
Got to be careful there, tackling Tarat. Make sure you get the ball. Once he gets inside that box, becomes more dangerous. He's got great individual skill, but can't quite unlock this Bologna defence as yet.
Tarat. Twisting and turning, trying to find that space for a cross, and he's done well to win another corner here.
Well, he has, but once he's beaten the man, then look up and put it in. Instead, he tries to beat him again and again. Unfortunately, there, he allows the other player to get back to him and block the cross.
Man desperate to prove himself in Serie A, Adel Tarat. Wanting to earn a permanent contract with the Rossoneri. Montalivo's corner. Header clear that time was by Rolando Bianchi. Constant. Montalivo for Milan. Christodoulopoulos, who's chased here by Honda. Really does do that job ever so well, Nigel de Jong. You know, what's been such a difficult season for Milan, he's perhaps been one of the shining lights.
No, he has injury problems as well, but it's important, someone with plenty of experience at least, to really get this Milan side through tough times.
Bianchi forced wide here by Adil Rami. Such a hard worker, Rolando Bianchi. Rarely gives anything up, the former Manchester City man.
And Torino, but there he's chasing away. I'm not sure, he pulled up a little bit lame. Let's hope he's okay.
Honda. Turns 31 tomorrow, actually. Rolando Bianchi. Yes. Nigel de Jong for Milan. Kaká. Well, you'd have to say so far very little has changed from the end of the first half. Milan struggling to up the gears. Desperate for some sort of spark from somewhere. Adel Tarat. Kaká. Montalivo. Wide now for Constant. Has Gadic in front of him. Too high for Balotelli. It's Honda at the back post. It's an intelligent header as well towards Mario Balotelli, who was rather slow to react.
He was. He almost gave the ball up, but that was better. At least they got to the byline, made the Bologna defenders turn their heads. And that is always difficult.
Honda. Vicilio. Sliding challenge was brought up by Molea.
I actually thought it wasn't a bad challenge, but got the ball and the man. In the old days, that was a great challenge. Unfortunately, seemingly not now, but this is better from Constant. What I mean is the centre halves have to turn and readjust their position. Suddenly you lose men in the box. That's where the opportunities can be. Balotelli was asleep.
Rami forward from the back. Balotelli a likely target for this as well. Just needs a moment of quality for Milan. It's been a game lacking in that so far. Honda's delivery. Corner kick conceded.
Anderson again. Really, it was a good header, but no Milan player there really was attacking the ball as you'd like.
Player down here inside the area is Adil Rami. He feels he was caught by the arm of Natali here, clearly. This should give us a better idea.
Oh, that is just awful, though. The big centre-half, my goodness. He's just run into him, touched him, and just flings himself to the ground. Very frustrating. He's done his lip as well. Well, the referee's got one, and he stood up. You did it yourself, and down you go.
And of course, it will mean as well that temporarily here, Milan are going to be down to 10 men, while Adil Rami gets treatment for that cut lip. And he would perhaps have been one of the prime targets for the corner, actually, to be swung over by Honda. Almost 10 minutes of the second half have gone by. Yet to see a genuine opportunity really crafted out by either side in this second half. Honda now. Adel Tarabt. And it's all too easy at the back for Bologna. We've rarely been extended by Milan so far. You wouldn't have expected that at the San Siro when you see some of the flair that Milan have available to them this evening. In fact, there's perhaps even the argument to be made, Tony, that is there too much flair out there? In the case of too many cuts, you look at the likes of Honda and Balotelli, Adel Tarabt. And
well, I don't think you've ever had too much flair out there. I think Honda's been disappointing. He hasn't done enough. I think it's effectiveness. That's what it's all about. You know, how effective have they been? They've got the ability, but can they change things? And Tarabt there, I think he's been okay. I think he's tried. He's looked dangerous. Sometimes the quality hasn't been quite there. Well, maybe the pass wasn't there at the right time, but at least he looks like he's trying to do something. Honda, I think, really hasn't been at the races either, and this is all just too slow. There you can see extra touch, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. Really, they should have a period of pressure where just 1 and 2 touch, get the ball moving left to right, back the other way again if they can't find spaces to really move Bologna. They don't move them quickly enough, it all becomes very comfortable.
Tarabt, now Balotelli, looking for Montalivo. Christodoulouopoulos couldn't get there for Bologna, now it's Honda. Virgilio an option wide right, disguised the pass well, Virgilio's cross. And it will be a corner, and a man down here. Morleo.
Well, Morleo made a good challenge initially, tried to get up and clearly felt something, and straight down he went. The left wing back ended up covering well. It was a good stop. Delayed reaction. Shouldn't laugh. Must have been painful.
Concentration in the eyes of Davide Ballardini. He certainly made Bologna already, so early into his reign at the club, more difficult to beat, as he did with Genoa in keeping them up last season. Many at Genoa, in terms of the supporters, felt that he should have stayed in the job at the end of the season, but the president thought different. Virgilio had it cleared by Carhin. Big ask for Cristaldo to keep that in. He has done better than that, and what a free kick.
He certainly has, but what a strange free kick or corner kick it was from AC Milan. They had plenty of time. They played 1 touch, 2 touch, back to Virgilio on a worse angle. They couldn't really get the ball in. I mean, just some strange stuff going on out there, and you can sense they're actually thinking about things of what their manager Clarence Seedorf has said to them. Their set pieces, they're going through it, but it's all at a slow pace.
I said yesterday, Clarence Seedorf, that Milan's players and staff are their own biggest critics, and that he knows what needs to be done to get Milan back on track. Easy take here for Corci.
It is, that's a more direct ball, and sometimes you have to mix it back, mix it up. Need the back three to move back, find the spaces there.
Montalivo. Now Mario Balotelli. Just a little too far in front of Honda, whose intelligent back heel finds De Chilio. First time pass by Balotelli, looking for Kaká, who's just about kept that in. Bologna felt it went out. It's Adel Taarabt. Found the room for the shot, but it's way off target.
Well, Kaká finally got involved in the game. It's probably been 10-15 minutes where he's hardly touched the ball, but he worked really well on the right-hand side, and eventually Adel Taarabt, when he wriggles, tries to find a gap. Unfortunately, this wasn't there.
And a reminder that the FA Cup takes centre stage this weekend on BT Sport. 3 fifth-round ties to look forward to. The first of them, Sunderland against Southampton tomorrow at midday on BT Sport 1. Arsenal against Liverpool to follow on Sunday at 3:15, also on BT Sport 1. And then on Monday at 7 o'clock from the South Coast, Brighton of the Championship against Premier League Hull City. All that action, by the way, available via the BT Sport app and, of course, via btsport.com. Montolivo for Milan. Christodoulopoulos. Well, Milan can't quite believe there's not a free kick there. Perez. Karhin. Garic. It's a really good cross, and it was Cristaldo on the end of it, just off target.
What a goal that would have been from a counter-attack. That really should have been a free kick. And Garic really plays an excellent ball. Nice and early, plenty of space there, and Cristaldo ghosts in. Catches it on the half volley, always catches it too well. It's not too far wide, but couldn't quite guide it either side of Abbiati. Well, Milan, for all their pressure, for all their possession, almost caught on the counter.
He actually scored, Cristaldo, his first Serie A goal for Bologna against Milan in that 3-3 draw earlier in the season. Mentioned earlier that he scored twice against Torino last weekend. His first goal since that strike against Milan. Player who's been really having to bide his time to get into the side, particularly to play through the middle, but given that opportunity since the departure of Diamanti to China, he's been showing tonight that he's prepared to really put the work in up front, and has had very little service to feed off so far, but that a delightful cross by Garic, wasn't it?
No, it certainly was, and first time opportunity he had, he almost took it, but Diamanti's is a big miss as well, because he's one of those players that buys them time, and you can see how important he was just by the way they play Bologna.
Garic now. It's Christodoulopoulos! Oh, brilliant save by Abbiati. What a stop that is.
Absolutely brilliant. It really was. And Abbiati there. Christodoulopoulos, when he just hits it into the top corner, it's going as well. And Abbiati flung himself across, fully outstretched. Excellent effort. That's 2 now. In a minute for Bologna. Maybe, just maybe, they're thinking, you know what? If we can put Milan under some sort of pressure, we can take all 3 here.
They are knocking on the door, Bologna. Slammed shut in their faces by Abbiati, not for the first time tonight either, it should be said. Pulled off a wonderful save from Karhin in the first half, headed by Balotelli, that defending. But they are going to have to be careful here, Milan, that they're not on the end of what would be a shock result, despite the fact that Milan started this evening in the lower half of the table. They are the Rossoneri, they are Milan after all. Adel Taarabt burst into the penalty area, was seen by Taarabt, looking for Kevin Constant. Garic. But with every passing minute at the moment, Bologna growing in confidence, growing in belief.
And you just wondered, actually, that will work in Milan's favour, because there actually was a wonderful ball in. Constant, for the first time, would have been in behind the defenders, the left fullback, because Bologna were attacking just moments before. Now the spaces may be there.
Guided back to Gianluca Corci. Perez. Up towards Rolando Bianchi. It's a really clever pass. Oh, not far wide either.
Didn't quite catch it right, did he? His left boot looked like it started on target, but then drifted harmlessly wide. And yet again, it's a good run. Adel Rami this time goes with him, but difficult angle. The chip was on there, wasn't it? over Abbiati, I think.
Saw him
getting
his
it.
line.
Yeah, he did, no doubt.
Well, it's no surprise, the way this game is going, to see a change being made here by Clarence Seedorf. Nigel de Jong replaced by Suleiman Tari. I think we thought it would be Pazzini, didn't we?
Well, no, exactly right. I'm surprised at this one. Okay, Montari might get forward a little bit more. Just going to concentrate at the back. It's the back four for Milan. No real danger. A couple of straight balls and they're in trouble. So Milan have to try and push forward, try and up the tempo, but it just isn't happening at the moment. And you're right, as the game progresses, suddenly the away side thinks we can get something from this game. They've got something to hold on to. It becomes more and more believable for them.
It's Perez down here, the Bologna captain.
Compared to Perez, he's been everywhere, hasn't he? Been in the thick of it. Tough, uncompromising midfielder. And if you're crunching challenges himself, he sees one that time.
And he's really led by example. Diego Perez, recently appointed captain after the departure of Diamante. He actually briefly left Bologna at the end of last season when his contract expired, but didn't get a new club, and then ended up signing a new deal with Bologna. First joined the club from Monaco for €1.5 million back in August of 2010. Here he is again now. Growing in influence out there as well. And towards Bianchi, but read by Abbiati. But the ease with which Diego Perez got away there, the 33-year-old, I might add, Diego Perez, must be a worry for Clarence Seedorf.
I was just about to say, no disrespect to Perez, but how can he burst through two players there and have daylight between them? I mean, Montari's just come on. And physically, he's going to do a lot better than that.
Kaká. Well, it was perhaps the right ball, but it was so easily read by Christodoulopoulos. Here is Christodoulopoulos again, seeing plenty of the ball. Cristaldo. Milan looking stretched, in towards Bianchi. Zaccardo there.
Important he was as well, because Bianchi would have just tapped that one in, but the ease that Bologna are just finding the spaces, my goodness. Both full-backs now are pushing forward for Milan, leaving the two centre-halves exposed, and they're not looking good with that sort of play.
Here comes another change, and it's the one that we expected first time round. Pazzini being brought on here, Honda being withdrawn. Certainly hasn't been one of his better nights. You know what the Japanese international is capable of, and it's a lot more than we've seen this evening. But Pazzini, as we've mentioned earlier, 5 goals last season against Bologna. Desperate for more first-team opportunities, just one start in the league so far this season. What a stage for him to show what he's capable of.
Exactly right, at least variation. We'll get something different now, because he will certainly play up top. They'll be more likely at least try and find him in the air, which suddenly gives the Bologna defenders another problem they didn't have.
He was absolutely full of goals last season. Pazzini scored 15 in the league. It was a 1 in 2 average for Pazzini. In fact, only El Shaarawy scored more goals for Milan last season. It was just the one more. A free kick here, though, for Bologna. Who've certainly given AC Milan plenty to think about in the last 10 or 15 minutes. And it's a game that could go either way. Christodoulopoulos will take the free kick. Forced Abbiati into a smart save earlier from open play. Committed a few forward here, Bologna. Natali was one of them. Beaten to it by Adil Rami. Now maybe the counter-attack. Pazzini.
Well, come off the defender there, so still attacking. Rami there thought better of it than charge up the right wing to stay defending, because got to make sure they don't concede. That's the first thing. I always wonder as well, this stage of the season, I always think that the results are very important, more important than how you play. Certainly for Bologna, I believe that's the case. But Milan, I think they have to get into some sort of stride, some sort of pattern of play, because they're expecting to really get better and build for next season. I just think they're so far off the European places that that's how they should be looking at things.
Kaká into the feet of Pazzini, but couldn't make it stick. It's been a great week actually for Kaká, who's been left out of the Brazil squad for next month's friendly against South Africa. Came on at half-time for Robinho against Napoli. Started off this season fantastically well, but hasn't quite worked out for him recently as Cristaldo rather overhit that, but it's been kept in. Moleo, Christodoulopoulos. Gadic calling for it towards the edge of the area, picked out the short pass for Perez instead. Kept in by Antonson. Mantovani. Perez. Moleo. Straight away had Kaká for attention.
Now Bologna are picking it around the pitch, which is highly surprising in the middle of the pitch, or even in Milan's half. I mean, the earlier pass from Cristaldo unfortunately was overhit because Moleo was in, and they are gaining some confidence. But now you can see at least that Milan, with Bologna players in their own half, they can win the ball back early and really attack them at pace and find that space they haven't been able to face. Maybe they can take advantage of it, but they're going to spend now 10, 12 seconds going from left to right to left to right. Now Bologna just filter back in, all too easy.
Bianchi tries one from range, but it would have had to have been special to beat Abbiati from there. De Sciglio. Milan at walking pace. The atmosphere at the moment at the San Siro so flat. So at times the players will feed off the crowd and vice versa. I guess it's ultimately up to the players to give the crowd something to feed off, get inspired by. Kaká gives chase. Christodoulopoulos. Giving away to Montalivo. Now Kaká tries to atone for his error. Christodoulopoulos and commits another one.
That was poor. Firstly, Christodoulopoulos' ball out of defence was a poor one, but again the challenge here certainly was a foul. And now, can they be direct? Pazzini is on the pitch. What does he want? Good whip ball into the area that he can try and attack.
And it's Montalivo, the captain, to have a go this time. Into the final 20 minutes. Milan about to pass up the opportunity to move into the top half of the table. Montalivo's all over, headed by Natali.
Good actual header as well. Adol Rami's the one they're aiming for. Well, that free kick, the same as the one earlier. This time a little floated higher. Good defensive header. Knew he was going to get clattered, but took it.
Just wonder if Milan's big Champions League game against Atletico is in the back of their minds. Coming up on Wednesday at San Siro. I mentioned earlier the return of Diego Simeone, former Inter player, to this famous stadium.
Well, the performance so far, it must be in the front of their mind, certainly, because they've not really got their concentration levels right in this game whatsoever.
Constant. Really has been such a different Milan this season in Europe, in the Champions League. Just seem to be able to up their level. Kaká. Zaccardo. Montari. Straight away he had Cahin on top of him. Cahin forcing the error.
That was awful. Since Montari's come on, he hasn't done a lot whatsoever.
Moleo. Cahin. Christodoulopoulos. Cristaldo. Cahin. Bologna making Milan chase. As Cristaldo draws the foul from Montari, which was all too predictable, really.
It's lazy from Montari again. I mean, that's easy, just go straight through the back of a player. What's more physically demanding is to try and hold him up and get the next one. He's been beaten by Perez as soon as he came on, knocked the ball straight out of play, and now he's done that. He's really hasn't had the effect that Seedorf would wanted.
It's a window where the Davide Ballardini is sensing a real smash and grab here. Christodoulopoulos, and he's found a bit of space. Blocked by Montalivo. Again, Montari into the back of Cristaldo. This time the referee says play on. How deep Mario Balotelli is here. Bologna will be happy to see him there. De Sciglio. Incredibly hard-working performance by Bologna. That
Perez takes one in the face and almost falls over. Back he goes, and you're right, the midfield are really working very hard indeed. And they keep it up for the full 90 minutes.
Adel Taarabt. Montari. Never really going to hurt Bologna with a cross like that, and now it's Adil Rami as Milan look to build again. Kaká. So many times over the years, of course, Kaká, their inspiration in tight games. And he proved to be that tonight for Clarence Seedorf. Well, it's not looking hopeful at the moment because I think Kaká has turned his ankle there.
It looked so when he tried to cross it. The ball actually came back and hit him as well. Went out for a throw-in to Bologna, but that's just their luck. At this moment in time, you can see gingerly goes down with that right ankle. It's actually hasn't planted it down, just twisted it. Done that once or twice myself. That's not good.
And it isn't looking hopeful at all, is it, for Kaká? Certainly a very honest player, not the sort to stay down unless there is a genuine problem. Of course, in his second spell with the Rossoneri. Of course, Adriano Galliani famously cried at the end of his first spell at the club. 95 appearances, 95 goals, I should say, for Milan. 46 assists. I think sometimes it's easy to forget just what a wonderful talent he was at full flow during that first spell at Milan.
No, he's absolutely incredible. And of course, what's missing now is that speed off the mark. The ability is still there, but he was breathtaking with the ball at his feet. He could just glide past players, run away from them, scored plenty of goals.
He's been back for a place in Brazil's World Cup squad by his head coach, Clarence Seedorf, who's really complimentary just recently about Kaká's contribution to this new-look Milan side. There is Adriano Galliani, the man in charge day-to-day at Milan, alongside Barbara Berlusconi, Silvio Berlusconi's daughter. And certainly Adriano Galliani not alone in having a very worried expression on his face. That's shared by many in the crowd tonight.
Well, exactly right. They're looking with progression, I suppose, aren't they? Looking at the team, understanding what they're trying to do, a better pattern of play. And it's not really happening. It started okay. The new manager came in. There's been an effect, certainly, but this one has been poor. Yes, there's a big game coming up next week, but I think the game before that, you want to take something into the Champions League game. Not going to take too much into it from this performance.
Constant. Adel Taarabt looking for Pazzini. I would imagine Diego Simeone is watching this somewhere. It's not been a great deal for him to worry about on this evidence. Of course, the extra thing to think about is the pace with which Atletico have been playing this season, which could really cause Milan all sorts of problems. They're looking to make another change here. It's Poli who's going to be coming on, a player that many arriving in the San Siro were expecting to start tonight. Adil Rami tidies up for Milan.
I think Diego Simeone, watching this game, will will understand that when they play, Milan's going to be completely different. They won't have certainly the same 11 in front of them. They'll play differently. And of course, what you can expect as well, Madrid will not be sitting back like Bologna.
Bianchi. Garic. Just behind Cristaldo. Christodouloulos. Perez. Moleo. Ambition shown there for a moment by Bologna, but in the end harmlessly behind for a goal kick. Milan, of course, spit Fiorentina to the final Champions League place on the final day of last season. Remember, they were 1-0 down at Siena until Balotelli equalised from the penalty spot that day. The Pazzini, the flag has stayed down here. Balotelli arriving in the middle, he squeezed it through, real chance for Kaká! Oh, it's just about stayed out, and they can't quite believe it, the Rossoneri.
Should have scored, but finally we get a straight ball, and Pazzini is just onside as well. He's looking into the channel, he gets there. He decides to get back. Not many in support though, were there? There's no one there. Kaká tried to force it in. Melee of players, but at last, variation. Getting the Bologna defenders to think of something else. It's taken 79 minutes.
Well, it wasn't complicated, was it, from Milan? Just a fairly direct ball caused all the problems. But as Tony Dorigo says, it was, even though not really spectacular in its making, it was different to what they've been doing throughout the game, which is in that final third, just playing in front of Bologna.
Time and time again. And it becomes easy then when defenders are seeing their man as well as the ball in front of them. It's been like that all day long.
I guess in some ways the change you might have expected when we saw Andrea Poli warming up on the touchline. Of course, formerly of Inter. He said he grew up as a Milan supporter. It was his dream to wear the shirt of the Rossoneri. De Sciglio. Davide Ballardini is appealing for handball there on the touchline quite vociferously. Floated back into the penalty area. Mario Balotelli. Into the final 10 minutes we go at the San Siro. Montalivo with the cross. And it was Saccaro who stayed forward from the back, who couldn't find the target.
Granted, it's a little agricultural. However, the opportunities are there all of a sudden. Bologna have to defend. When they head it out, it comes back to a Milan player, and the spaces. But it really is a little too late. Still 10 minutes to go. Can they just find that breakthrough? But at least they're asking questions of the Bologna defenders.
For all their problems this season, Milan's fitness doesn't seem to be an issue. Have often been dangerous late on in games, scoring 13 league goals in the last 15 minutes of games. They'll have to do the same again here if they're to snatch all 3 points. But I think snatch would be the correct word to use, really. Certainly not a game that they've dominated in terms of chances created. Tarat. Wide for De Sciglio. And towards Pazzini, it's just too high for him.
It's a brilliant ball. It really is, De Sciglio. Because he knows Pazzini is in there. He just whips it in head height. Pazzini made the run to the near post. Just missed him.
Zaccaro. Constant. Clear by Natali, who got the shout there from Gianluca Corci. Of course, it must be remembered what a fantastic result the goalless draw would be for Bologna.
You're exactly right. That's what it's all about. Playing away, conceded so many goals, trying to survive. First thing you do is not concede. They've done that. They've slowly built on that. They've had 1 or 2 chances themselves to take the lead. But rather than go gung-ho and really push up, they're playing the right way and trying to keep this point.
They've only been beaten once in Davide Ballardini's 5 games in charge before tonight. 3 previous draws and 1 win. Poli. Constant. And it's over the head of Pazzini and headed clear by Natali. Helped on its way by Cahin. referee here really having to push Perez away and then right into the face of Natalie.
My goodness. Angry referee, certainly. And Natalie there, the defender, getting a right talking to.
Cristaldo being withdrawn here by Davide Ballardini, and it's Diego Laxalt who's come on for the closing stages. Uruguayan under-20 international, who's on loan from Inter at Bologna. You can see a story coming there, can't you? Adel Taarabt with the shot. And it's an easy take for Gianluca Corci.
So now what we're seeing is a lot of kind of angled balls. You've still got to mix it up, sometimes get to the byline, get an overlap in, and then put it up. Just not enough ideas in that last third.
Now then, Adel Taarabt. Polly makes a run into the area. He was seen, wasn't he, by Taarabt, but it's not the right pace or direction on that pass.
Well, Morleo, I think, read the ball as well, so he defended pretty well. Left wing-back's had a decent game. Trying to get forward when he can, put one or two dangerous balls in, but on the whole, helped out his left-sided centre-half. Well, they all have. I think the Bologna side will be delighted with it. Clarence Seedorf, I think he knows that his side can play a lot better than this.
Flicked on by Christodouloulos. We're going to see a yellow card here.
Well, it has to be Zaccardo there, just wrapped his arm right around the striker there. Brought him down, had to, because he was off. Laxalt just come on. No doubt he would have been gone.
Towards the final 5 minutes we go at San Siro. Is there to be late drama? As of course there was in the reverse fixture earlier this season. Milan were 3-1 down with 2 minutes to go. Morleo's cross ended up 3-3, that one. Christodouloulos. No goal fest here tonight. Karhin, oh, he's difficult.
Wouldn't come down for him, would it? Certainly he's looked decent, he's defended well, passed the ball well, had a couple of decent opportunities, arriving in and around the box at the right time.
Didn't have the easiest of starts in Italy. Came to Inter from Maribor in his native Slovenia at the age of 16. Maybe it was all a little too much too soon. And he is developing well there at Bologna. Cahinas. Balotelli goes from range! Oh my word! That's what he can do! That's why he makes the headlines! That's why he's Milan's star man! Finally, a smile on the face of Clarence Seedorf. And it's all because of Mario Balotelli. A beauty.
A bazooka. What a goal that was. My goodness. I'm thinking, is he really going to hit this? Well, of course he's going to. At last we've seen some quality, but my goodness. A long way out, 30, 35 yards. A dipping, wicked shot. Keeper absolutely no chance. The purity of the strike, you can tell by the lack of rotation on the ball, but what a shot. Not in keeping with the rest of this game, but I'm delighted we're stuck around to the 86th minute because we have seen a great goal.
Takes Mario Balotelli into double figures in Serie A for the season. He might well have just won all 3 points for Milan on a night when they've been lacklustre. They've not been anywhere near their best. But their talisman, who's also been quiet, it should be pointed out, pulling one out of the bag when it really mattered for Milan.
I think what's interesting is they took him off last week. Well, they kept him on this week. And yes, you're exactly right. He has been quiet, but that's what he can do. My goodness. He's been moody. Doesn't look happy out there, but when he picked that ball up, he thought, you know what? I've had a poor game so far. Let's try my luck from here. And there's not many players in the world can do that.
Diego Perez booked there. Confirmation he'll miss Bologna's next match. Laxalt. Of course, you saw the joy on the faces of all associated with the Rossoneri, but you can only imagine how frustrated the Bologna players and their head coach Davide Ballardini are feeling right now after all the hard work that they put in. Reacting here by making a change. Garic, the man coming off, and it's Moscardelli coming on. Born in Belgium, 24-year-old Italian. And he's always scored consistently in Italy's second tier, not quite so much in Serie A. And Lopez is brought off here for a debut for the Swedish international, Erik Friberg. Double change very late on here by Davide Ballardini. He had to show some sort of reaction to that goal.
He'll be so disappointed because they really did defend extremely well. There was no problems whatsoever in the game. They would have been expecting really a 0-0 until that wonder goal from Balotelli. He's had to ring the changes and try and nick an equaliser, but that will be a body blow for Bologna.
Sulimentari for Milan. Can they close this game out now? Balotelli. Bolli. Now Pazzini. Lecilio. Bolli. Milan going in search of a two-goal cushion here. Pazzini. Does well to win the corner.
He's run the clock down now. All of a sudden it's a completely different game. You have to feel for Bologna though. In the position that they are, they've come here well organised, deserved something. Somehow that man there has pulled it out the bag.
You know, it will help any manager, won't it? When you've got a player who can produce a moment of brilliance like Mario Balotelli has done tonight. I suppose you could say, if you were looking at it from the negative point of view, that it maybe papers over some of the cracks we've seen tonight with Milan. But I guess, as you mentioned earlier, at this stage of the season, it's about finding wins from somewhere, isn't it? Even when you're not playing well. And my goodness, Milan in their predicament, trying to get European football next season, they need points quickly.
They do. But if they keep playing like this against the better sides, they really will struggle. And they have struggled all Serie A. But what is also important, I suppose, is the confidence by these results. Hopefully you can then step it up and really improve performances, but it hasn't been a good performance. You're right, that goal will mask a lot, but they have a big game to look forward to this week. So at least that, from their point of view, that last-minute goal by Balotelli will help things.
Two difficult domestic fixtures follow that Champions League tie against Atletico Madrid. For Milan, away at a resurgent Sampdoria, a game live on BT Sport, as is the visit of champions Juventus on the 2nd of March. Bologna entertain Roma next. That another fixture you can see live on BT Sport. A game that will be vital at both ends of the table. And after that, Bologna go to Hellas Verona. Christodoulopoulos, could there yet be a twist in the tail at the San Siro? Cahin. Natali. Laxell. This is Balotelli for Milan. Needs some sort of support. Well, you never know. Super Mario might go alone. Just caught from behind by Erik Friberg. Only just on and showing a yellow card.
No, but good play. It really was. I thought for a minute Mario's going to go all on his own, but just run the clock down now. He waited for support. And of course there, flick from the back from Friberg. That was certainly a foul. But just breathtaking. And the keeper was so frustrated, Curci as well, after this goal, and he's jumping up and down because he knows his team had done ever so well, but you just cannot stop them.
And this is in Balotelli range as well. You wouldn't put it past him, would you? Less than 2 minutes have added on time to go. He could end it as a contest here, Mario Balotelli. I think it was at Livorno earlier this season in a 2-2 draw where he scored from a very similar position. Only one thought in Balotelli's mind, and this time it was always rising.
Forgive him that. Just with a minute, a little bit more left in the game. He's been the difference, as simple as that, because it has been dreadful. You can't say anything different. Short on ideas in that last third, but what a valuable boost this 3 points will be.
Gohin. One back by Pazzini. Laxalt. Balotelli. Did well to draw the foul there. Maybe a bit of frustration creeping in for Mantovani. Milan playing this game out now. Constant. Christodoulopoulos, who it must be remembered, produced a wonderful save from Abiati when the score was at 0-0. But it's Super Mario who's been the difference on the night at the San Siro. A tight game, a game that was hugely important for Clarence Seedorf. No surprise to see him go straight over to Mario Balotelli. He's up to 10 for the season in Serie A, a moment of individual brilliance to win it for Milan on the night. We'll next have the full-time thoughts of Tancredi, Palmieri and James Richardson, but at the San Siro it's finished Milan 1, Bologna 0.
Sponsored by Bet365.
I love being a mum. I've never done it before. He's amazing, he's a super baby. I've got so many things to do at the same time, and you know, obviously being a working mum, you have to make sure you know where your money's going. So if you do need to go out and get that dress that you're not meant to be buying because my husband doesn't know, I can do it all on my phone without going into my overdraft. I can check my money wherever I am.
Make Barclays your bank.
Okay, which one of you losers nicked my deodorant?
Who'd want to smell like you?
Who would have smelled like you?
Nice, mature.
Zip it, shrimpy.
Dan, eat a Snickers.
Why?
Because you turn into a right diva when you're hungry. Better? Better.
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers. Get some nuts.
Let's go!
The new Lexus IS. Amazing in motion.
Proceed to protocol.
With over 9,000 restaurants, Hungry House is the easy way to order your favorite takeaway.
Houston, the crispy duck has landed.
Your hunger? Our mission. hungryhouse.co.uk. Order online or download the app.
There you go, sir.
Big time.